Thank you, dear graduates, for inviting me to give this year's commencement speech. I hope you were anticipating I'm going to talk a lot about you when you were freshmen. I'd actually like to start by quoting something you wrote in your very kind letter inviting me to speak here today. One of the things you said in that letter was, given your outstanding achievements in getting our class to be somewhat quiet during class. So I appreciate that you recognize that as an outstanding achievement, although I don't know how well I was ever able actually to accomplish it for longer than a few minutes at a time. You went on to also thank me for my dedication to helping you understand why we believe what we believe as Catholics, and certainly that was at the heart of what I was trying to accomplish. It's what I went in to my work with you trying to accomplish. I quickly developed this secondary goal of getting you to stop talking all the time. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to miss all of you, each one of you. So as you prepare to set off on the next stage of your lives, I want to reflect with you a little more seriously now about who you were as 9th and 10th graders and who you have become now. And the image that comes to mind for me is the immortal vision of the human soul that Plato describes in his Republic. The great Republic of Plato, which Dr. Ludwig taught you in freshman year, with its division of citizens into 3 classes, the workers, the warriors, and the philosopher kings. It is a representation of the 3 powers that war within each human soul. So within each one of you, and within each one of us, there is a worker, a warrior, and a philosopher king. In another dialogue, the Phaedrus, Plato describes the same reality of this kind of triple power of the human soul under a different image. In the Phaedrus, he says the human soul is like a chariot pulled by 2 horses, one of which is strong, heavy, and sluggish, plodding powerfully along with its head down, and always trying to pull the chariot aside off the road for food or rest or indulgence in simple pleasures. The other horse is high-spirited, noble, fierce, and free, always straining forward with its head uplifted, eager for speed and ambitious for glory. The charioteer is your reason, whose task it is to harness these contrary powers of the soul and train them to work in unison and harmony to pull you on a straight course along the road of life. The charioteer corresponds to the philosopher king from the Republic. The noble and high-spirited horse is represented by the warriors, and the slow and plodding horse corresponds to the workers. I've actually reflected on this a good bit in thinking about you all, and I've become convinced that when I met you as freshmen, you were the warriors of the Republic. You were the high-spirited horse, pulling the chariot swiftly and fiercely ahead, but since the warrior in you was so much more developed than the worker, you constantly pulled the chariot off one side of the road. Our tasks as your teachers was to train you, was to restrain the one horse within you and to spur forward and strengthen the other, with the ultimate goal of developing your own powers of reason to be able to harness and command the other powers of your soul. This, I think, in truth, is why you were so difficult to manage as freshmen and at the same time so incredibly likable. Bored and apathetic students are easier to manage but harder to teach. Independent, intelligent, and lively students are harder to manage but much more rewarding to teach. It was frustrating at times because I wanted you to already be little philosopher kings as 9th graders, but I also loved teaching you because it was such an exciting ride trying to keep the chariot on the road while you were rushing along at breakneck speed. So I don't know if you ever wondered why we made you read the Republic as freshmen. It really is because your soul is like a city full of competing powers. As freshmen, like I said, the warrior within you is dominant, but you've come a long way towards becoming the philosopher kings that you're meant to be. And now that you're going to take the reins of your lives into your own hands as young adults, heading off to college and whatever else is next for you, you will have to govern and command yourselves to a much greater degree. I believe you're well prepared to do this, but will you be able to do it on your own? Of course not, and that's why we made you read St. Augustine's Confessions. Well, really, we made you read that because God has made you for himself, and your hearts will always be restless till you rest in him. But also it's because your own efforts to govern your souls by reason will never be enough without grace. You must, like St. Augustine did, surrender your hearts to Jesus Christ and allow the power of his grace to fill you, transform you, lead you, and strengthen you. Why did you read the Iliad? Because life is a battle, and true glory is not found in conquest, but in courage and honor, even in defeat. You will experience setbacks of various kinds, but God never permits evil to happen unless he's going to draw some greater good out of it. Like out of the fall of Troy came the grandeur of the Roman Empire, as you also read in the Aeneid. Why did you read the Odyssey? Because life's a journey home, and like Odysseus, you will have to overcome countless obstacles that are constantly threatening to overwhelm you. No matter how far away the adventures of your life take you next, remember that you have a home, and we hope you'll come back. Why'd you read the book of Job? You didn't read the book of Job? Who taught you scripture when you were sophomores? I should have made you read the book of Job. Mea culpa. You should have read the book of Job, because life is a riddle and full of suffering. But we know, like Job, that our Redeemer lives. Job wasn't afraid to ask God the hard questions, but he never wavered in his trust and confidence in God. Why did you read the Canterbury Tales? Life is a pilgrimage, but we do not travel this pilgrimage alone, but in a jolly company, which you exemplify so well, exchanging stories and songs along the way. As you leave this company behind, you'll need to find new traveling companions on the pilgrimage of your life. Find people, like in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, who are fun to be around, but make sure that they're also people on pilgrimage with you to the same destination, which is the shrine of saintly holiness. Why did you read Dante? Because life is a divine comedy. But like Dante, we need a guide to lead us out of hell sometimes, through purgatory, and towards that vision of heavenly beauty and glory. Your teachers have tried to be those guides for you while you were with us. Your parents will always be those guides for you. Who will be your guides in the next stage of your life? Still your parents, of course, but I hope that you will also find guides in your pastors, professors, mentors. We all need people we can trust to show us the way. Finally, why did you read Shakespeare? Well, I read Shakespeare, and he says brevity is the soul of wit, which means it's time I wrapped up this speech. So let me just say congratulations, and I know that I'm speaking for all of us when I say that we're proud of you, we love you, we'll miss you, and we're excited to see where God takes you next. Thank you very much.